Holy fuck! Oh my fucking god! Yo, I was just on this fucking plane! Oh my god. Yo, I was just on this fucking plane. Holy fuck.
Oh fuck! Oh fuck! Oh no 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 no! Tyler, you seen this airplane just crashing into you?
So Quanell, what we just saw was two viral videos of the Delta. Well, it's actually a regional carrier that's a subsidiary of Delta. I think the name's Endeavor. Plane crashing during a landing in Toronto. We haven't heard a lot about the why. As you can see, runway frozen, Canada very cold. It appears that the plane came down either too fast or too hard, hit the ground, rolled over. Terrifying stuff, right? The vantage from the passenger crawling out of the wreckage, yeah, I can't even imagine, right? What I've read is that people were hanging, dangling, flipped over like bats hanging off a roof. You had 8 people seriously injured, I think 3 critically. You have to imagine some of those people were not seat belted. This really makes an argument to keep your seat belt on while you're flying in a plane. But we have seen the media, right? Both the mainstream media and the conservative media and social media alight with 2 arguments. One argument is Trump firing people caused this. The layoffs at the FAA, the Federal Aviation, has led to these horrible spate of plane crashes. We had the one earlier in the month in Alaska where I think 10 people died. We had 67 people die when the military helicopter crashed with an American airline in D.C. Terrifying stuff, and there seems to be more of them. There's also been a lot of private carriers. I think we've seen 2 or 3 crash. It has been a bad time for being someone that flies. It's bad stuff. But to blame Trump and his layoff of probationary employees and his offer to give buyouts to federal employees seems to be just more conjured Trump derangement syndrome. Hey, we've got to blame Trump for everything. It does not seem like he has been at the stick long enough, to borrow aviation jargon, to be responsible for these. On the flip side, we have seen conservatives, Republicans, Trumpers, blame DEI, right? If you go to Delta's Twitter page, their pinned tweet is about, women doing everything, right? And so what Trumper and conservatives have done is they've decided that DEI is to blame. And it was exacerbated by the fact that it looks like one of the military pilots and possibly the one flying the plane when you had a helicopter collide with an American airline, it appears the military helicopter was to blame, was a relatively inexperienced female pilot who also was somehow also a staffer at the Biden administration. I think we can all agree that we shouldn't have anything but merit deciding, well, all reasonable people, that it only should be merit deciding who's flying planes. Whoever the best person flying the plane, who passes the test and does all that. And you've seen that. You've seen a fired pilot get his job back and then have a hard, right here in Houston, you had a hard landing by a pilot that was fired, allegedly, and then rehired because of a DEI program. And maybe that's a good argument, but I think it's assuming a lot for people to say, hey, it's DEI. DEI caused this. I think that's just racist, screaming racism. I'm taking this water you stole from me.
As a black man, I could care less about DEI, diversity, equality, inclusion, because America has never ever desired, put a law into place that she followed to uplift and involve black people on a mass level for diversity, equity, or inclusion.
Why do you lie
And
all
so
the time?
we as black people have to understand that DEI benefited white females, it benefited members of the Arab community, Indian community, and Asian community much more than ever benefited black men and black females in particular. So we should not waste our energy worrying about DEI. That's not for us. We need something much better than that for black people. But I'm gonna say this to you, Charles. Now for the last 3 weeks, we've been watching strange planes just fall out the sky. We've been watching crash after crash now.
Well, we had UFOs falling out of the sky.
No, but Charles, we see a military helicopter fly head on into a big jumbo jet airplane. It didn't try to dive. It didn't try to turn away. It looked like it aimed directly for it. But all of a sudden now that once Trump becomes president, these planes are falling out the sky, flipping over on the runway, hard landings in Houston, plane crashes in the lake and in the water with helicopters. And all of a sudden, it's Trump, 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 Trump. But all of these people were in place way before Trump ever took the White House. But why these crashes now? Because I believe that they knew, many of those in the government knew that they were about to be cut through Elon's Musk investigations and cutbacks.
So you think these are purposeful crashes?
Listen to me. I believe that there's an element in the United States government who are so afraid that their jobs are going to be lost and cut that they may start to internally sabotage government agencies to make it look like Donald Trump is crazy, and if he's allowed to continue doing what he's doing with Elon Musk, the American safety and American way of life is in danger. I think they're going to do it on purpose, some of them, certainly not all, and guess what? We have the proof to back up that some within the government who did not like Trump in the first administration actively worked in acts of treason against him. Even a general sit there and said that if Trump gave him the order to carry out a military action, that he would not do it. That's an act of treason. So why would we think anything different now? Also, let me say this. I believe that these are distractions. I believe that something is about to go down in America, and we're being prepped to look at the distractions and not pay attention to what's really about to happen in this country. There's so much craziness and hate about Donald Trump. I think that they're willing to allow a dreadful act to take place in this country to put the blame at its doorstep.
You know, I keep waiting for you to have that Mission Impossible moment where you reach up and you pull off a mask and you're just Alex Jones sitting there. That is absolute. I mean, you started crazy and you finished crazy. Firstly, DEI has been an overwhelming benefit to some people. They would argue unfair.
Not black folks.
To African American
No,
people.
do your research.
In the academic setting.
No.
Affirmative action has
That's
overwhelmingly
absolutely
been
lie.
in black
Do your
Americans for the
research.
last decades. Now, don't get me
I will
wrong.
bring the documents.
Don't get me wrong. There are unscrupulous people like Senator Elizabeth Warren who pretended to be a Native American to get all
Pocahontas.
kind of jobs. But
She said she was Indian, Pocahontas,
but the
and didn't have one damn drop of Indian blood.
The suggestion that black people haven't benefited from DEI.
The
and
masses
to
of
the
black people
detriment
never benefited from
to
affirmative
the
action, never
detriment
benefited from
of
DEI
qualified
programs. No, we did
white
not.
males and white females is incredibly dishonest. But let's move
But
on.
what they did,
let's move on.
but they added gays to minorities now. Arabs,
Well, you don't think-
Asians,
wait,
Indians,
you don't think-
Latinos.
you don't think the LGBT
So
community
all
was
of
oppressed
those,
for years?
But you're missing the point. The LGBT's community oppression does not equal black oppression in America.
Okay.
You know why? Because, see, as a member of the LGBT community, they can hide their sexuality. They can keep it secret like many do. But black men and women, we can't hide who we are. Ain't no keeping it secret.
Affirmative
and so
action
I believe
has
other
been
groups
in place.
have benefited from what we
Aggressive
fought
affirmative
for.
action has been in place in America for black
And
Americans.
we fought for it.
For
But we
5
didn't
decades.
benefit from it.
5 decades.
And we never benefited from it.
And a tremendous number have. But I think it's unfair to blame these crashes on it. But equally, let's get back to
I
the
think
crashes.
some of it's internal sabotage.
I think
I'm
this
telling you.
internal sabotage narrative, there's been no evidence of that. That is
Are you sitting
Twitter
here? Are you sitting here
conspiracy.
saying to me that there's no evidence that there was internal sabotage deliberately during his first administration.
Well, let's talk about
during his first administration.
Oh, no, hold on.
Are you telling me that FBI agents
Hold on.
did not lead a secret campaign to undermine that man, discredit that man? Are you telling me that FBI agents did not go to social media platforms and threaten them to put the story of Hunter Biden, bury it, don't report it?
I absolutely
That's a conspiracy
agree.
at the highest levels of the government.
I absolutely agree that, in fact, the Biden administration in the last 6 months, there was evidence that they were squandering money to prevent that capital from being used by Trump.
So don't tell me ain't no damn government conspiracy to sabotage.
But it's very different, right, than saying they're intentionally crashing planes, right? And there's no evidence.
You don't think it's strange why this last plane comes and crashes on the landing, flips all the way over upside down,
right,
and nobody dies?
Okay, it's called, it was.
I know God is good. I know God is great, and I know nobody can touch His mercy.
Watch the video.
But that is a setup, man.
No, it's not.
I thank God those people survived, but all of them survived after being flipped over and crashed. Charles, there's something internally going on, and the American people are being misled.
The hull of the plane did not break in half. Most people were seatbelted. There was no way to make if
there was an explosion on the plane.
It flipped over.
When it landed, there was an explosion.
Right, one of the engines
and then it flipped over, and nobody died.
Okay, it was frozen.
This is some internal sabotage.
It was frozen, and it was poor flight. But just like the just like the DC collision, you had what appears to be an underexperienced pilot. I don't think the fact that it's a female pilot should play in the math.
So you want us to believe that military fighter pilot couldn't see that big old ass jet in front of her face?
Well, that's the thing.
And didn't try to dive, didn't try to turn,
for some unknown
just went
reason,
straight into the plane.
Had
You want the American people to buy that lie?
Yes, I don't think there was some intentional thing to crash a plane full of children, especially young Olympians, and kill people. I think it was.
Governments kill planes full of children all the time.
Okay, I don't disagree.
Ask Russia.
I don't think there's any.
Ask Libya for what they took responsibility for.
Russia likes to shoot down passenger planes, but I don't think America is evil like the Putin administration is evil.
Wait a minute. You don't think the American government can be that evil?
I didn't say I didn't think they had the capability to be that evil.
Did not the committee
I don't think
put in place by Donald Trump just last week admit that there was 2 shooters in the JFK assassination?
Well, they admitted there was speculation.
I'm sick. No. You gonna sit here and tell me that the American government would not do these things, and they just admitted that there was 2 shooters in the Kennedy assassination.
I would like to say,
and for 6 generations, they've lied to the American people.
That this Quanell is my favorite Quanell.
Wow. I'm giving you facts.
Conspiracy theory Quanell, I think is great. But I do not think Trump is to blame for this rash of accidents, and I think all the news articles are saying he's firing people he causes are liars. I do not think that DEI is to blame, although I don't think we should have DEI when we're hiring pilots. They should just be the most qualified people.
To go down in
but
America,
I also don't think
sisters.
It was an actual internal intentional government sabotage.
They hate that man enough to do exactly that.